All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99. I am back with another breakdown prediction for Fight Night, which is what, 3 days away now? Yep, February 12th. It's going down. It's the big flyweight fight we'd all been looking for. You know, it's the big test for an up and comer that we've all been talking about, discussing what she offers. She's taking on the veteran Roxanne Modafferi versus Casey O'Neill. All right, y'all. So, as y'all know, this is Roxanne. This is going to be her last fight. This is her 50th fight in the game, and she's looking to go in there and go out on a big high. You know, she wants to go in there, like she said, and do everything, you know, she hasn't done before, and even try to score a knockout over Casey O'Neill, right? That's what she said she's looking to do. Then you have Casey O'Neill on one side said, look, you know, she ain't trying to be nice. She ain't trying to be friends. You know, she's going to go in there and fully retire Roxanne Modafferi, even though Roxanne Modafferi is already going to retire, right? So, yeah, man, big test here. You know, we've been talking about this fight a lot on my channel. You know, I've been bringing it up because, like I said about Casey O'Neill, I see a lot of potential in her and a lot of natural abilities. I just see some growth that's needed there. You know what I mean? Like, I compare it to some of the other ones coming up. You know, the other fighters on to come up, and I just see a little, I just see a gap there between skills. You know, like I said, she has the ability to grow like Macy Barber, and that heart to continue to fight. And I just want to see that. So we're gonna see in this fight if she can show us some new improvements and some nice adjustments against, you know, almost a 50-fight veteran in Roxanne Matafari. So I'm going to give you my keys to victory. Then I'll give you my prediction for the fight. So let's go ahead and start Roxanne Matafari. As y'all know, as y'all can see on this tailor the tape, Roxanne Modafferi is 39 years old. You know, she's been in the game for a minute now, for years, almost 2 decades, right? You know, she's done everything, BJJ. She's done taekwondo, everything. You know, everything leading up to her MMA career. But for Roxanne Modafferi, you know, she's one of those fighters that's very awkward. You know, very I think very underestimated. You know, when you go in there, you see that resume. A lot of fighters think that they can just go in there and take her out the same fashion that these other 19 or 20 people have done. But there's something about those people that beat her. They had certain keys that I always talked about, which I will go into about Casey O'Neill on how she's going to have to beat her. But for Roxanne Modafferi, you know, she offers a lot. You know, she is like a very awkward, well-rounded fighter. You know, she offers, of course, her jiu-jitsu has been on point. Her clinch control is good. You know, she is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You know, she's just one of those fighters that's very dangerous on the ground, you know, as far as her transitions, her top control, and her ground and pound. You know, she's just one of those top level jiu-jitsu practitioners now, you know. But I have some questions about it now that she's getting older and the game is evolving. But one thing I think a lot of people underrate, or, you know, they overlook about Roxanne is her striking. You know, I said this before. I think her striking is better than a lot of these other flyweights out there. You know, just the way she utilizes it. You know, it works. You know, she's very good with the jab. So I can't say that, you know, her striking is like a C. You know, I got to give it at least a B because it definitely gets the job done for her, you know. So going into this fight for Roxanne, first off, I'm going to say she needs to use that jab. You know, her jab is very straight to the point. You know, she was able to land it solid on Macy Barber, on Anthony Shevchenko. She even landed her jab a few times on Taylor Santos. So she needs to use that jab early just to find the rhythm and find her range early on a fighter that's going to put the pressure on her and just kind of, you know, come forward and want to take her to the ground. So you have to throw that jab out just to knock Casey O'Neill off balance. You know, you have to land it square to the chin, and that's going to open up her other power shots like her right hand. Next, she's going to have to keep range and keep moving in this fight. Early on, Roxanne, you know, she is the older fighter here. So I think, you know, she needs to just try to find her pacing, you know, keep the fight comfortable where she wants to fight, you know, and just kind of use that lateral movement. Because I think her lateral movement is better than Casey O'Neill's. So if she can stay on the outside and move side to side, that could kind of throw off the footing of Casey O'Neill. Because Casey O'Neill, she's going to bull rush in at times, or she could kind of, you know, stutter step and then kind of leap in there to get the fight down to the ground. So I think Roxy needs to move side to side, you know, move left to right and just kind of throw off the footing of Casey O'Neill to make her continue to reset and just make her think. You know, I think that Roxy wins these thinking matches, you know, because whenever Roxy sets the pace and she keeps the fight moving at her rhythm, you know, she's able to go in there and dictate the pace like she did with some of these other fighters like Anthony Shevchenko, Macy Barber, Andrea Lee. Like Andrea Lee is stronger, I think, than Roxanne, but there's times whenever Roxanne was able to keep it a thinking fight, and Andrea Lee just kind of got frustrated with that and would kind of rush in and let Roxy take over. So same thing here for Roxy. I think if she keeps range and keeps the fight moving side to side, it's going to make Casey O'Neill think, and that's where Roxanne can continue to pile up points and even like take the fight down to the ground here and there, score some takedowns. Next, I'm going to say top control. If the fight goes down to the ground, Roxanne, she's got to get that top control. She can't let that heavier fighter and Casey O'Neill get on top of her and start working, because Casey O'Neill, she will put that blanket on you. She'll continue to work as well. So can't go in there and get laid flat on your back against a fighter like Casey O'Neill. She has solid jiu-jitsu, get a little sloppy at times, but I think it's still effective enough to blanket over Roxanne and just kind of nullify her and put her on her back. So I got to see Roxanne, transition to top and get that work in on top, get that full mount and just keep top position here to control like she did against Macy Barber. Next, stay off the fence. This will be the last thing I say for Roxy. Stay off the fence, because that's where I think Casey O'Neill will have her best work done. She's going to go in there and try to press and maul like Taylor Santos did. And, Casey O'Neill does land some good knees. She's been working on that Muay Thai, and then those tie clinches to the body could definitely wear down on an older fighter. So Roxy, she's got to keep it moving, stay in the center, and keep her back off of the fence in this fight. Like, I know she's good on the ground, but you're dealing with a young, strong fighter here, so you got to keep the fight in the center of the octagon, even if it goes down to the ground. All right, so keys to victory for Casey O'Neill. All right, y'all, so I know a lot of y'all think that when I'm describing Casey O'Neill's style and kind of rating her as a fighter, y'all think I'm kind of downplaying her talent, downplaying her skills, but not at all. I'm just basing off of what I've seen and where she sits right now in the ranking. I know she's number 15, but there's still a lot of room for improvement for her. She's only 24 years old, so we can admit that, look, she's still a little bit green in some areas. She has a lot of natural abilities, which I'm always giving her credit for. And those natural abilities, you can't teach. She's got the heart, she's got the toughness, she's willing to fight anybody, and she's willing to learn. You know what I mean? Like, even the ability to soak up things, that's kind of a natural ability. You can't really just teach somebody how to soak up certain types of knowledge when it comes to fighting. You know what I mean? Like, they have to want it. And that's something that she has. Having the want and the hunger is kind of a natural ability to me, unless you just find something that you really find worth fighting for, and I think Casey O'Neill has that. So going into, coming into the UFC at number 15 and just how I describe her, in no way am I downplaying her. Like I said, if I would just go ahead and say, oh, she's this, she's that, that means she's ready for the belt, right? But no, I'm still kind of breaking her down as a young green fighter in the game. And going into this fight here, this is a big test. I mean, it's a big, dangerous test, because even though she's 8-0 and finished her last 3 opponents in the UFC, she's dealing with somebody who's fought over 50 times in the game, and, seen it all, been through it all, right? So it's going to come down to Casey O'Neill's hunger and her want and the improvements that she's been making throughout her training camp, right? So for Casey O'Neill, going into this fight, the number one thing I'm going to say, number one is combinations. Been saying that she's been improving on her striking. She likes to go in there and use her hands. She's not afraid to go in there and bang. So going into this fight here, much like fighters like Taylor Santos and Viviane Araújo did, you have to outwork Roxanne Modafferi. You have to go in there, control the pace with combinations to throw her off rhythm. Roxanne, if she gets the jab going in her straight right hand behind it, she can kind of throw a fighter off. So you have to pressure her in and throw combinations. Throw that long jab Casey O'Neill has, and then come back with the 2, and then throw that left hook to the body or to the head, or just, blast her back with 1, 2, 3s. Similar to how Taylor Santos had to do, because sometimes Taylor would get hit with that jab, but Taylor knew that she could take it, so she would come back with a 1, 2, 3 and just kind of pressure pressure Roxanne back. Because I think that the harder puncher in this fight would be Casey O'Neill. I think Casey O'Neill, she's the harder puncher. So I think throwing combinations is a good way of throwing her off, and, just kind of busting up Roxanne and just throwing her off of her rhythm of getting, getting into that lateral movement that I was talking about. So switch it up, combinations to the head and to the body, kicks as well, going to the knees and the calves of Roxanne is a good way to break her down. So combination is a good way to just keep the fight unpredictable. Next, the pressure. Got to keep that effective pressure. It can't be that type of pressure like You're just bull rushing in where you can get hit by Roxy, in her jab or her counter shots. But that effective pressure, that pressure that's going to make her feel uncomfortable and make her back into the fence. You have to keep her closed in and boxed in where Roxy can't use that lateral movement. So got to keep that type of pressure on her and just keep pumping the jab out, pumping those long straight shots down the middle to keep her again, uncomfortable and offset. Next, body work. Now, body work doesn't just mean punches. This means knees to the body as well. Casey O'Neill, she's been working on that Thai clinch, that Muay Thai clinch. She's been using it effective against fighters like Laura Procopio and even Antonina a few times. When she closes in, after you put that pressure on, get her to the fence. Get that head control, put that forehead in her chest, and then get that Thai clinch and work the knees to the body. You got to break older fighter down to the body like that. Take away her legs by, continuous knees to the body and even jabs to the body. Like how Raquel Pennington does, throw that jab to the body, come back up top with a hook or a right hand to the head, So all kinds of body work on Roxanne. You want to use that on a fighter that's almost pushing 40. Last but not least, maul. You have youth on your side, you have strength on your side. Casey O'Neill, she needs to go in there and just maul. Don't look for too many submission attempts against, polished black belt in Roxanne Modafferi. Just look to control her wrists a lot in this fight. Use the shoulders, the bumper in the face, even against the cage and on the ground. Plant Roxanne on her back and just maul. Continue to maul her. Land those little shots on the inside, work on that ground and pound because, that Shannon Dobson ground and pound that we've seen, I don't think that'll be very effective against Roxanne. Against Roxanne, she's going to have to be a lot more assertive with those shots, elbows to the body, hammer fists, and just really staying in Roxy's face and just keeping Roxy out of any type of position to transition to top control. So, those are the keys to victory for both fighters. For Roxy, I say, use that jab, keep the range, keep it moving. Side to side, get top control, and stay off the fence. For Casey O'Neill, combinations, pressure, body work, and maul. Maul the older fighter. That's what she has to do. So my prediction on this fight, man, I think the first round is going to be a bit of a cautious round. I think Roxy, she's going to take a bit of a cautious approach here. She's going to try to get her jab going, try to test out to see what Casey O'Neill is going to offer as far as pressure, to see if she comes in there wild and green and wanting to try to take her out. And then I think eventually, maybe in the mid part of the round, you see Casey O'Neill start throwing combinations, pressing Roxy back. And then it's going to get into some clinches here, clinches where it'll go to the ground. And you'll see a lot of stalemates here because I think Casey O'Neill's youth, like I said, her youth and her strength is going to keep her from getting submitted early on in this fight. But you might see Roxanne transition to top. Might take the first round or so, take moments in the first round. Second round, I think Casey O'Neill is going to pick it up a little bit more, her being the younger fighter again and, just having that will to want to go for the belt. Remember that, she has that different mindset than Roxy. This is Roxanne's last fight, and she's never wanted to fight for the belt. And you have to think to yourself, what's your motivation, to go into this fight and try to go out on top, right? So that's another thing you have to think of. So I think Casey O'Neill, her hunger and her strength is really going to help her pick it up in the second round. And then the third, I think she's going to finish a lot stronger. Her cardio and her stamina, I think it can hang with Roxanne. You're going to see her in there land some big shots on Roxanne and knock her back a few times. But she's going to take some shots as well. There's going to be a lot of close moments even on the ground. I think both of their ground games are really going to cancel each other out at times because I think, again, physical strength of Casey O'Neill is going to help her out of a lot of these moments and scares of Roxanne. And Roxanne, her overall knowledge and ability to move and transition on the ground is going to save her from any sloppiness of Casey O'Neill. So back and forth action in this fight. But if I had to pick, I'm going to say Casey O'Neill is going to win this fight by decision. I think she's going to outwork Roxanne. And like I said, her mindset to win is just, I think it's just higher right now. So I'm going to go with Casey O'Neill by decision. I don't know if it's unanimous yet or split. I think there's going to be close moments. I don't see anybody getting finished or stopped in this fight. So, Casey O'Neill is going to win this fight by decision, in my opinion. I just have to factor in also that I did a lot of research, on Roxanne, and not just looking at her MMA performances, but I went back and looked on UFC Fight Pass, a few of her grappling bouts. So if you combine all those together, and if you combine all those together, she's actually on a 5-fight losing streak. You know, she's lost 3 grappling tournaments. Then she lost to Taylor and Viviana Araujo. So to me, that doesn't really sound like somebody that's as polished on the jiu-jitsu as of lately, towards the end of her career. So if somebody like Casey O'Neill, you know, raw talent, but that's really working and very can be very chaotic on the ground, that could be trouble for, you know, an old school jiu-jitsu practitioner like Roxy, you know, because you see Danielle Kelly, she submitted her. I know that's grappling, but still, you know, I think that what Casey O'Neill offers might be a little bit different for Roxanne. So we'll see, you know, we'll just have to see. But one of the things that I continue to say about how you beat Roxanne is you have to have that physical strength, and you have to have some solid hands like Viviana Araujo and Taylor Santos. So this is going to be that fight to tell us if Casey O'Neill has any of those things, like those fighters. Like, I haven't seen it yet. You know, I haven't seen that type of, you know, hand speed or even those type of techniques to turn it over their punches like Taylor and Roxy. But I'm just thinking that maybe her overall work rate will win her this fight. So yeah, I'm going to go with Casey by decision in this one. I just think the hunger is on her side right now, because again, you never know how Roxy might feel in this fight, where she might get hit with some big shots, and then she goes to thinking about, oh man, like she goes to thinking about the sparring sessions and those headaches. You know what I mean? So we'll see, man. But I think it's gonna be a good fight. Definitely a good test for Casey O'Neill. Let me know, guys, in the comment section who you got winning this fight, Roxanne Modafferi or Casey O'Neill. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.